signed fraction, addition, or subtraction advanced. All right, so when we add or subtract fractions, one of the big things you need to remember is that they have to have like denominators. So we need to find the lowest common multiple in order to make this work. So you can go and you can say, I want the multiples of 3 and 8 to figure out what the lowest common multiple is. You can also just simply go like this, 3 times 8, and I get 24. Doesn't always guarantee that's the lowest common multiple, but sometimes that's the easier way, and then we can just reduce at the end. Okay, so if I go ahead and do that, then I know I'm going to change 3 into 24, and I'm going to change 8 into 24, like this. So what did I multiply here to go from -3 to 24? And I'm going to move this negative up to the top. It doesn't matter where the negative is. If I move it to the top here and I give it to the 4, then I don't have to worry about a -24 on the bottom. So we can just move it up to the top. It's not going to make any difference at all. As long as there's only one negative, it can be the top, bottom, or it can actually appear right in the middle like a minus sign. So I want to go from 3 to 24. I have to multiply by 6. I need to do the same thing to the top, okay? Multiply by 6. So since I'm giving the top the negative, it's -4 times 6. Oops. That would be nice if I was paying attention. Sorry. I was thinking of 4 times 6. So it's times 3. Silly. So I want to multiply by, I said times 3. Times 8. Can't use my words right now. So I want to go 4 times 8, and I get -32. Remember, we're giving the negative to the 4. All right. So now, and I'm going to change my color here just for a second. We want to go from 8 to 24 here. And I want to do whatever I do to this 8, I want to do the same thing to the 5. So 8 times 3 is what got me 24. So I want to multiply 5 times 3. Remember, there's a minus sign here. So we just want to make sure when we write this in, and it was minus here. So we have 15 times 3, and we get, 5 times 3. Geez, I keep doing that. So we have, and I'm going to rewrite this over here so it looks a little easier, because I just wanted to show the arrows of how I was getting from number to number. So we have -32 over 24 minus 15 over 24. Now that they match, the denominators are the same, I've chopped whatever this is up into the same number of pieces, I can go ahead and add or subtract. So because I have -32 and -15, I'm going to add them. So I get 47 negative. I just keep the negative sign. So if it was 32 plus 15, you wouldn't even question it. You would just say, oh, 32 plus 15, and I'd start adding them, and I get 47. Same thing if they're both negative. You add them together, and you keep the negative. And then you have the 24. So just like they got, we get -47 over 24. And apparently we do not have to put this into a mixed number. We can leave it just like this. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself a new page here. All right. And I have 7 over -2 plus -9 over 7. Okay. So what we need to do is make these match. Easy thing to do is just say 2 times 7 is 14. So I'm going to change them both into 14. And that does happen to be the lowest common multiple for both of these numbers, but it just makes it a little easier here. All right, so I'm going to switch this over, and I'm going to say 2 to 14. And again, give that negative to the top. We're going to move that over to the top, the negative. So we're not dealing with -2 times 14. So 2 times what gives me 14? Well, 2 times 7. So I want to do the same thing to the top. I'm going to multiply by 7. Remember, we gave the negative at the top, so it's -7 times 7, and we get -49. And then I'm going to go, this was a plus -9. So I'm going to go with red on this one. I want to say, what do I multiply by for 7 to get from 7 to 14? I multiply by 2. I'm going to do the same thing to the top here. So I have -9 times 2, and I get -18. And I'm going to put this plus sign back in the middle here. All right, so I'm going to rewrite this without all these funky colors here. So we have -49 plus -18 over 14. So negative 49 over 14 plus negative 18 over 14. Now that we've matched on the bottom, again, this is just about chopping them up in the same number of pieces, we can subtract. So negative 49 plus negative 18. So what do we get? They're both negative. We have to add them together. So we get 17, 5, 6. So we get 67 negative. Because if I add these together, I get 67. They're both negative. So my answer is negative over 14. So this should be our answer. Let's check it. Ta-da! We're good to go. Next. All right. 2 more of these, and then we'll be done for right now. Okay. All right. So, sorry, I have lots of alarms going off here. Minus 5 over negative 2. All right. So what we want to do is we want to make the denominators the same. Again, the easiest thing to do is you go 9 times 2. I know I want it to be 18. Okay. And we want to give this 2, or this negative up here to the 5 so that we don't have to deal with the negative on the bottom. Okay. So first we're going to go 9 to 18. What do I multiply by? 2. We've already dealt with that. So we're going to go negative 4 times 2, and we get negative 8. This is also a minus. I forgot to put the minus sign in between here. So I'm going to go red, and I'm going to go 2 times what gets me 18? 2 times 9. So I'm going to do the same thing on the top. Remember, we gave this negative to the top, so it's negative 5 times 9. So we end up with negative 45. All right, let's write this without all these fun colors. So we have negative 8 over 18 minus 45 over 18 equals, all right, so now we've chopped them in the same number of pieces. They're whatever this is that we're talking about, we're not given a story, is chopped into 18 pieces each. And every 18 pieces is a whole number. So negative 8 minus 45. They're both negatives. I'm going to add them and keep the negative sign. So all I have to do is add them. So I end up with 53 over 18. So negative 53 over 18. Okay, one more of these. Uh-oh, I typed it in wrong. What did I do? Uh-oh, I didn't deal with this double negative here, did I? So 2 negatives, because it's minus negative, this actually becomes a plus. Dun, dun, dun. So I want to get rid of this 53. So now they're opposites. So I actually want to go 45 minus 8. So if I take that away, let's see, I end up with 37. And 45 is bigger. It's positive, so my answer is positive 37. Dun, dun, dun. Not paying attention to negative signs. Bad math teacher. All right, we got it back. Getting them wrong is not a big deal. Just go back, take a look, and try again. Everybody gets them wrong from time to time, all right? All right, so we have 8 over 5 plus 7 over negative 4. So we are going to do, so we want 5 and negative 4, and we want the lowest common multiple, so 5 times 4 gives me 20. That's the easiest way to do that. So I know I want 20 and 20. I did not mean to change the color yet. 4, so I want 20, and then I'm going to put the plus sign and 20 in here. Also, give this negative up to the top again, so we don't have to deal with the negative on the bottom. All right, so 5, what did I do to change it into 20? I multiplied by 4. 8, what did I do to change, or what did I do to change 20? I multiplied by 4, so I have to multiply by 4 on the top. So I have 8 times 4, and that gives me 32. And then on the bottom, for negative, or just 4, remember we're giving the negative at the top. What did I multiply by? 5. So I want to do that same thing here. So because we're giving the negative at the top, it's negative 7 times 5, I get negative 35. All right, let's rewrite this without all the funky colors here. 32 over 20 plus negative 35 over 20. So we chopped them all into 20 pieces. They're even, so now we can compare them. 32 plus negative 35, they're opposites. One's positive, one's negative. I subtract, and I get 3, and then the bigger number decides my sign. 35 is bigger, so it's a -3 over 20. -3 over 20. Check. Okay, one more. Let's do, no, don't save. Okay, last one here. As long as we get it right. 8 over -3 minus 9 over 2. So I want to make them like denominators. 3 times 2 gets me 6. So I know I want to change them to 6. Sorry. So I have this negative going up to the top again. I don't want to deal with the negative on the bottom. So now I'm going to switch over to my colors here. So 3, what do I multiply it up by to get to 6? 2. I'm going to do the same thing to the top, times 2. Remember, we gave the negative to the 8, so it's -8 times 2. We get -16. I forgot to put the minus sign in between here, so I'm going to do that real quick. And then I'm going to deal with this 2. So 2 to 6 means I multiply by 3. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to multiply by 3. So 9 times 3, I get 27. Yes, okay. Took me a second. All right, let's rewrite this without all of the funky colors. So minus 27 over 6. All right, so now we've chopped them all up into 6 pieces. And we have a ton of pieces on the top here. So we have -16 minus 27. They're both negatives. So I know I'm going to add and keep the negative sign. So I just need to add them together. So I get 13. And then I carry the 1 and I get 2, 3, 4. So 43 over 6. Make sure it's -43 over 6. And then we're going to click check and we should be good. Yay! Another one down.